Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining me for another session on learning about grammar. My name is Miss Electoli, Faculty of English at Edufy, and today we're going to learn about a very important topic, that is parallelism. Now you might ask me, what is parallelism? Sounds like a mathematics solution or mathematical formula, but it's rather a very important topic of grammar. And the word parallel itself gives us an idea about what this topic is all about. Parallelism means when we want to make a sentence more balanced. That is, when we say the word parallel, we mean to say something that is in parallel with one another. That means in very incongruence with one another. So, therefore, what is parallelism? It means using the same grammatical form of words, words that are joined together in a sentence, to use together in one sentence, should be in relation with one another, and that's what we call parallelism. Okay, so parallelism means using the same grammatical form of words or group of words that are joined together. Three things you must consider: either in a list, in a series, or in comparison form. It makes the writing balanced and logical. It is also sometimes gives us a clear indication of what the sentence means entirely. So let's take a look into the further details of this very topic. Where is parallelism needed? When do we need parallelism, right? So when we have sentences that are in a series or list, that means if we're talking about words in a sentence and we're trying to write them in a series, that is one after the other, or in a list, then what do? We use parallelism. Let's take a look at this sentence. She likes to read, writing, and swimming. There is a clear indication of the verbs, that is to read, writing, and swimming. However, if you read the sentence thoroughly, you see that there's some kind of awkwardness in the sentence, right? And what is that awkwardness? The difference in the verbs. Yes? So therefore, what do? We have to understand that we have to put in the parallelism in this type of sentence. And how do we do that? By matching the verbs to one another. So in this sentence, what do we see? She likes to read, writing, and swimming will be changed to she likes reading, writing, and swimming. So what has happened in this? We see a series, a list. Three actions mentioned in the sentence: reading, writing, and swimming. So therefore, these three lists should be in parallel with one another, should be in parallelism with one another. So therefore, I have written this in the continuous form, all the three words. So this shows that the sentence is balanced, the meaning remains intact, and it shows us some kind of balance and clarity within the sentence. This is why we need parallelism. Now, this is in case of a sentence where we have a series or a list. Next, we move on where we see that all the items should be in the same form. That means what? When we have correlative conjunctions in the sentence, such as either or, neither nor, not only but also. If you don't know what correlative conjunctions are, they are joining words, but they are joining words that come in pairs. Okay, so correlative conjunction in these words, when you have this, what do? You have to see whether all the items are in the same form within the sentence when they are joined by correlative conjunction. Now let's take a look at the first sentence here. He is not only intelligent but also has honesty. Now it seems like, okay, I'm talking about this person and his quality of being intelligent and honest as well. So two things. He is of two things. That is the gerunds, right? The verbs in the sentence, sorry, the adjectives in the sentence, that is intelligent and honesty, is there. So these are correct. But then within the sentence, there seems to be an awkwardness. And what is that awkwardness? I'm saying that he is intelligent, right? But then in the second part, I'm saying he has honesty. Now, that is the problem here in the sentence. I will have to make it congruent, proper parallel to one another in the sentence. So what do? I write it, he is not only intelligent but also honest. So what have I done? I have written intelligent and honest as two qualities within the sentence. So they are the same words, right? They become same. The items in the sentence have become the same, parallel to one another. Okay. So this is the second case of parallelism, where you can see that joined by what? Correlative conjunction, and also we see that the error used within the sentence of different verbs can be changed by writing the adjectives by itself without any addition. And what has happened? I have made them parallel to one another in the sentence and made it more clear and more visible for all of us, and more better for us to understand in the sentence. As we move along into the next topic, when do we use parallelism? There is this third point that you must always remember, and that is very important. Items linked by correlative conjunctions must be grammatically similar, right? That was the second point. Now, the third point is, with comparison, we also use what? Parallelism. And what is that? Comparison is what? When we compare two things or two qualities of one person, or when we're comparing two people or two subjects in one sentence, is called comparison. And we use that in these type of sentences. He enjoys reading more than to write. Now, in this sentence, I'm saying that his action of enjoyment happens in two things, that is, in reading and writing. So two things have been compared here, right? Between reading and writing, he likes to read than to write. So what has happened? We see that reading is here in the gerund form, right? Reading is here in the gerund form, ing. But here, if you look at this, it is in the infinite form. Okay, why is it in the infinitive form? The error is there in the sentence. We see that the verbs are in two different forms in one sentence. When I'm talking about comparison, I'm saying that reading and writing is the one that I'm comparing, right? So I'll either have to change either of them within the sentence. And to make it more feasible and more clear and balanced, how do I write? He enjoys what? Reading more than writing. So now what has happened? A gerund has been written along with a gerund, right? So this polarity within the sentence has been balanced by bringing the parallel within the sentence. So this is how we make it more clear, more balanced, and we have to identify where the problem is. The problem is in the words themselves, where you see that gerunds and infinitives have been combined within one sentence. Therefore, you can change it into this form. Let's look into the last one, and that is with infinitives. When do we use parallelism, right? So first thing was when we had comparative degree. Now we have infinitives. We see this sentence: she decided to study hard, working part-time and earning money. There's a small problem here, right? And what is that? We see that again, different usage of verbs within one sentence again, right? We have to study. To study is what? Infinitive verb. Infinitive is written here, right? So infinitive verb has been written here. So to she decided to study is infinitive. However, right after to study, we have two more verbs, and that is written in the what form? Gerunds form, right? We have working and earning as well. So that means I have to balance this out in the sentence. How do I balance this out? She decided to study hard, to work part-time, and to earn money. So what has happened? I have changed both of these gerunds into infinitives again. So what has happened? The sentence has become again balanced and more clear. So I don't have to confuse you by using a continuous form of the verb and then the infinitive in one sentence. I have just transformed them into infinitives to make more sense of the sentence and make more balanced statements. Okay. In the last one, that is with clauses, we use with clauses the parallelism when we want to show that there is some kind of relation with the first statement and the second statement. Okay, so how do we do that? If I say the teacher said that we should study hard, be punctual, and our behavior should be good. Now, there's a lot of problems here. Said that we should study, right? Another one should be good, but then again we have be punctual, right? So should and be, there is a problem here within the sentence. That means there is no balance in the sentence. How do I balance it out? By writing, the teacher said that we should study hard, be punctual, and behave well. So what is happening here? We see the word should be good, and all this has been taken out. Directly should has been written, and along with that, what are the three things that we should do? Study, punctual, and behave well. Be good means to behave well, right? So all I have done is use the auxiliary verb, that is model auxiliary verb should, because all these three words mean exactly the same. So me using them separately within the sentence does not make any sense. Okay, so how do I make it clear? By keeping the auxiliary verb as one within the sentence and then adding the other words into the sentence to make more sense. So what has happened? All the items must be clauses with the same structure. So you see this. There are all the items and clauses within the sentence that makes the same structure. Let's take a look at this example, shall we? This is a clear relation with our examples that do come in our exams, okay? Questions that are related to exams, right? If I say the manager told us to complete the report quickly, accurately, and in a detailed manner, quickly, accurately, and in a detailed manner, what has happened? The clauses have what become unbalanced, imbalanced, right? So therefore what do? For I have to bring them into the balance, and by bringing, in order for me to bring them into balance, I'll have to write them in the parallelism form. And how do I write that? The manager told us to complete, that is correct, the report quickly, accurately, and what in a detailed manner will be changed to thoroughly. So meaning the same, but then what has happened? The form has changed to match and to be parallel with the other words in the sentence. Okay, and that is how we make more sense and more understandable sentences in any of these sentences that we have already done. They all show us and tells us about how we can approach a sentence that has different words within the sentence. If it has infinitives, you match it with infinitives. If it has gerunds, you match it with gerunds. If it has comparative, you will have to look at what it is being compared to. So if it's a quality, you compare it with a quality, nothing else, right? So you don't add more verbs into the sentence. Similarly, if you have clauses, you write them into the same clauses and not different clauses in this way. And that is how you make a sentence more clear, more readable, and also in your exams also, this gives a better understanding and better learning exercise. So if you have questions like this in your exams, be careful and learn how to approach this type of questions. So with this, I will end this video. Thank you for joining me. Have a nice day.